John and Kendra Smiley joining us with our weekly dose of parenting advice. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's get straight to our question today. It is, my daughter exaggerates, especially when she's in trouble. What are some strategies to do to correct this?
Well, first I need to kind of clear up something. Exaggeration is different than just the imagination of a young child.
Okay.
You know, if they are making up a story, in fact, one of our granddaughters will go, now this is just a story, and then she'll tell me some unbelievable exaggeration. But really exaggeration, especially when you're in trouble, that's actually maybe a nice word for lying.
Right, yes.
And that's something we don't want our kids to do. And so I think that's maybe the first step, is to tell this daughter, you know, did you realize that that's like lying to mom and dad or to anyone? And that's a bad habit. And so what's excellent about this question is it's a perfect time now, whenever now is, to start trying to break that habit. And that's something that takes a little time. It takes maybe slight warnings in the beginning, you know, kind of reminders, because a habit is hard to break.
Right, and another thing that parents need to do at this time is to explain to kids the long-term goal. Most kids think immediately of what's when they exaggerate, they're maybe getting out of trouble, that type of thing. But the long-term ramifications of this, the consequences are pretty big, because if a child is exaggerating, is lying, then they can't be trusted. And if you think about that and they get in that habit, then all of a sudden, yes, they're little now, but they get a little bit older, they're still not telling the truth, and then all of a sudden adults aren't trusting them, other kids aren't trusting them, and that's not really obviously a good thing. And again, most kids don't think about that long term, they're only thinking short term. The other thing for mom and dad to think about in this, and we do it sometimes and we don't think about it, and we exaggerate as parents. And so here our kids are watching us, we are modeling and not even realizing that. So mom and dad, if your child has a problem with this, then look at each other, and are we exaggerating in certain instances, and we need to you know, is that a habit with us? So we obviously don't want to model this behavior.
Right, are they mimicking that?
Right,
exactly
I saw a bumper sticker that said, I don't exaggerate, I just remember big.
Yeah.
Well,
not a good idea. In fact, I remember a young child saying one time, they were talking about a situation, they said, oh, you can't believe him, he doesn't always tell the truth. And a young child had already picked up on a friend of his who didn't always tell the truth. And so, you know, then when you want to tell the truth, you know, and you're trying to tell the truth, you're not going to be believed.
Boy who called wolf, or cried wolf.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
So then you just, in that moment, correct them and say, no, what really happened?
You never want to embarrass your child with a correction. That doesn't do any good at all. That's counterproductive. And so you might have a signal when you know that that's an exaggeration. You just put your finger up, you know, or go like this. Let's bring it down to the right size. And ultimately, if there needs to be a consequence, it needs to be a logical consequence. You know, the child exaggerates when a friend is there, and after the friend leaves, you say, you know, that really isn't something, that's something we're trying not to do, so you can't have a friend over tomorrow. Okay. Oh, well, that hurt. Oh, I'm going to remember not to exaggerate.
All right, great advice as always. And if you have a question for the Smileys, send it over to their website, parentinglikeapro.com. And if we answer it on the air, you'll get a free copy of one of their books. Thanks so much.
Thank you.